Reddit, I need your take on this. Am I the jerk for how I handled my ex-fiancée choosing a concert with her best friend over me when I was seriously ill? My 32M former fiancée, 29F, let's call her Amy, and her entire friend group are labeling me a controlling villain. I, however, believe I responded with calm logic to a fundamental betrayal. The aftermath was explosive, and I'm turning to you for clarity. Was I wrong? Amy and I were together for 4 years, engaged for the last 6 months. To outsiders, we were a solid team. I'm a senior project manager with a stable income, happy to take on the role of primary provider. Our apartment lease, utilities, her car, our phone plan, everything was in my name. This was a mutual choice since my finances and credit were stronger. Amy worked part-time managing social media, using her earnings for personal expenses. I thought we had a fair, supportive dynamic. The one persistent issue, the fracture in our foundation, was her male best friend, Nate. 30M, they've been close since college, and their bond is intense. He had a key to our place and was always around. If we argued, she'd call him for advice before even finishing our conversation. I brought up boundaries multiple times, always calmly, but she brushed me off, calling me jealous or insecure. "Nate's like family," she'd say. "You need to deal with it." I trusted her, so I let it slide. That was my error. Last Wednesday, I caught a brutal flu. Not just a cold, think 103-degree fever, aching bones, pure misery. I was collapsed on the couch, barely able to function. That Friday was a major concert for a band Amy and Nate both loved. They'd bought tickets months earlier. I told her to go, not wanting her to miss out, but asked her to check on me before leaving and maybe grab some medicine on her way back. A fair ask, I thought, for someone you're supposed to marry. By 5 p.m. Friday, I was worse. I called Amy, my voice weak, asking if she could pick up a specific fever reducer after work. She said she couldn't, she was already out prepping for the concert with Nate. "Okay," I said, struggling. "Can you at least fill my water glass before you leave and text me when you're heading home?" Her response floored me. Hesitantly, she said, "Actually, Nate and I were thinking of getting a hotel downtown after the show. It's late, and it's easier than a cab." I paused, stunned. My fiancée was choosing a hotel stay with her male friend over coming home to her sick partner. "Amy," I said quietly, "I'm burning up, I'm alone, I need you to come home tonight." Then came the words that shattered everything. She sighed, irritated. "Look, I know you're sick, but I can't bail on Nate. He's been hyped for this forever. I promised him it's just one night." I waited for her to show some concern, some care. Nothing. Her priority wasn't my health or our bond. It was not disappointing Nate. A cold clarity hit me, drowning out the fever and pain. I saw our relationship's framework and its core was hollow. "I understand," I said, my voice emotionless. "Good," she replied, relieved. "I'm glad you're not blowing this out of proportion. I'll see you tomorrow." She hung up. I lay there, staring at the ceiling. Then I decided. I wasn't going to make a scene. I was going to end it. Fueled by adrenaline and a hefty dose of ibuprofen, I got to work. It was methodical, almost surgical. First, I packed. 3 suitcases held everything I owned: clothes, books, work files, family mementos. I erased my presence from the apartment. Next, I made calls. I contacted our phone provider and suspended Amy's line, which was under my plan. I reported the credit card I'd given her as stolen, deactivating it. I changed the passwords on all our shared streaming accounts. Then on my laptop, I drafted a formal email to our landlord, giving 30 days notice to end the lease. I attached the signed form and paid the final month's rent. Lastly, I wrote a brief note and left it on the bare kitchen counter, next to her now useless key. I took my key, walked out, and locked the door for good. I drove to my parents' house where I could stay temporarily and crashed. The note read, "Hope the concert was worth it. Go be his priority." Update 1. 3 days later, the feedback from my post has been incredibly affirming. Thank you for confirming I'm not losing it. Many of you asked for the fallout details, and it was, as predicted, chaotic. I spent Saturday recovering at my parents' place, my fever finally breaking. My phone stayed quiet since I'd blocked Amy's number, but I knew it wouldn't last. The storm hit Sunday afternoon with a flurry of emails from Amy. The first, sent around 1 p.m., was bewildered. Subject: "Where are you?" It read, "Just got back to the apartment. It's empty. Where's your stuff? My key doesn't work. Did you change the locks? Call me." The second, an hour later, was furious. Subject: "This isn't a joke, Tom." It said, "My phone's dead. I'm using Nate's to email. What did you do? The landlord posted a lease termination notice. Fix this now." The third, sent late that night, was desperate. Subject: "Please talk to me." It read, "Okay, I get you're upset. I'm sorry about the hotel, but this is crazy. You can't just vanish and cancel the lease. I have nowhere to go. My stuff's here. The card you gave me got declined at brunch. It was humiliating. We need to talk." I messed up. I didn't respond. The real story of their weekend came from an unexpected source. Nate's on-and-off girlfriend, Lisa. She messaged me on social media, saying she saw my Reddit post circulating and called me her hero. Lisa revealed Nate had told her he was on a guy's trip out of town. She only learned he was at the concert with Amy via their Instagram posts. She said this was typical for Nate, using other women for fun and a place to crash when he and Lisa were on a break. Lisa described their return to the apartment on Sunday as a disaster. They found my note, and reality hit. Amy's phone was cut off, the Wi-Fi password was changed, streaming services were inaccessible, and the apartment was a shell of her belongings in a place she no longer had a claim to. Their weekend getaway turned into a vicious fight. Amy blamed Nate for pushing her to stay at the hotel. Nate, realizing the cushy apartment and free-spending girlfriend were gone, lost interest in playing her loyal friend. Lisa said he grabbed his bag, told Amy to deal with her own mess, and left her alone in the empty apartment. So my fiancée, who couldn't be bothered to check on her sick partner, was now abandoned in a home she was being evicted from, with no phone, no funds, and no best friend. Her priority had ditched her just as she ditched me. Update 2. 1 month later, the past month has been about finalizing my freedom. For Amy, the consequences have been a slow, harsh reality check. My lawyer, a brilliant woman recommended by my dad, handled everything. We sent Amy a formal letter via a process server outlining our separation. It noted that I'd vacated the apartment and ended the lease, as was my right. It listed every piece of furniture and major asset I'd purchased, with receipts attached, offering her the chance to buy them at a fair price or have them removed on the lease's final day. It also included a detailed bill for her share of last month's expenses, including the concert tickets I'd paid for and her portion of the utilities. Her lawyer, clearly in over his head, responded with a frantic email claiming Amy was entitled to half the assets as a common-law partner, and that I'd maliciously made her homeless. My lawyer's response was masterful. She clarified that our state's common-law marriage laws didn't apply to us and framed my actions as a logical response to Amy's own choices. She included my sworn statement detailing that Friday, quoting Amy's words, "I can't bail on Nate." The letter warned that if Amy pursued this in court, we'd subpoena Nate to testify under oath about their relationship and hotel stay. Her lawyer went silent. Nate on the stand was the last thing they wanted. Legally defeated, Amy faced reality. She couldn't afford the furniture or the apartment. She spent the final weeks of the lease sleeping on an air mattress in an empty room, surrounded by packed boxes. On move-out day, I was there with movers and a neutral observer. Amy was a shadow of herself, all her bravado gone. She sat silently on the floor as the life she'd taken for granted was packed away. She didn't speak to me or meet my eyes. As the movers carried out the last item, our bed, she whispered, "Was it really just the concert?" I looked at this stranger I once loved. "No," I said, "it was never the concert, it was the fever. It was the choice. You made yours, I made mine." Final update. 6 months later, 6 months have passed since I left that apartment and stepped into a better life. The chaos is gone, replaced by calm purpose. Amy's consequences, delivered not by me but by reality, have been relentless. With no home, no money, and a ruined reputation, she moved back with her parents. The city lifestyle she'd built on my support collapsed. Her friendship with Nate, the guy she couldn't disappoint, is over. He wanted a carefree partner, not a broke woman in her childhood bedroom. He got what he wanted and moved on. Her parents, I hear, are frustrated, supporting her but pushing her to take accountability. She's working full-time to pay off debts, including the bill I sent. I'm thriving. I took a solo trip to the mountains, hiking and rediscovering myself. I sold the old apartment's furniture, too many bad memories, and used the money for a down payment on a small house with a yard and a workshop for my projects. My career is soaring. The peace in my personal life has made me a sharper leader. I'm not dating yet, focusing on rebuilding trust in my own instincts. But I'm not lonely. I'm content. Amy's choice that night seemed small. A concert over a commitment, a friend over a fiancé, a fleeting thrill over lasting loyalty. She thought it was just one night. But it was the final test of a shaky foundation, and it collapsed entirely. I didn't seek vengeance. I just walked away and let the structure fall, and I've never been more thankful for my own clarity. So Reddit, am I the jerk? I think I know the answer.